Gina, I'm home.
Hey, baby.
Oh, baby, I'm so hungry.
Me too. What you gonna cook?
Oh, baby, come on now. I thought you was gonna have something cooked for me. You know I've been working all these hours.
And oh, baby, I thought you realized I work just as hard as you do. And I still managed to get home at a reasonable hour.
Baby, let's not do this tonight, okay?
No, we're not. What you gonna cook?
I'm so hungry. Maybe you got something else I can chew on.
Oh, that thought. I forgot I have to call Stacy about tomorrow night. I'll be right back. Simple ID.
You bet. Hello? Yes, sir. I'll get right on it. A man's work is never done. Hey, baby, I'm home.
Hey, baby.
How you doing, baby?
Good, how you doing?
Hungry.
Oh, I got you some smoked turkey, some collard greens, some corn, some sweet potato, and some sweet tea, and some yeast rolls.
Baby, you know just what I like.
And then after you get done with that, you can work on some...
No. Oh, it's my supervisor, Gina. Hello? Gina? What? I'll be right there.
Is everything okay?
What? She didn't know who else to call. She took a blood test and found out her husband gave her HIV.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Let's pray for her. I'm so glad I have a man I can trust.
What you just saw was officially a dramatic interpretation, but someone understands and realizes that it was actually a part of someone's life. To help us navigate between fact and fiction, I want you to please welcome my first guest from the AIDS Foundation Houston, Mr. Benny Castro. Mr. Castro, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get down to business, shall we?
Absolutely.
First and foremost, what is HIV? What is AIDS?
HIV is a pardon me. HIV is a virus that affects the immune system, and it is not curable.
Okay.
And you get it by having unprotected sex or sharing bodily fluids, particular bodily fluids, with someone who already has the virus.
Okay. And what is the difference between HIV and AIDS? A lot of people use them interchangeably.
Absolutely, and we get that all the time. There's a big difference between HIV and AIDS. HIV really, simplistically, HIV is the virus itself, AIDS is the point at which the virus has affected the immune system to such a degree that it is compromised to the point where all kinds of opportunistic infections will affect you.
So that technically a person doesn't really die of AIDS per se, as much as something that their weakened immune system allows to affect their body.
Absolutely. There has never been a death certificate that has included the words AIDS. There has been something like pneumocystic pneumonia, Kaposi sarcoma, infections that affect the body.
Okay. Are there any symptoms that people should be aware of? Or?
Well, you know what? That's another thing that we are constantly asked. And symptoms are, if you really ask for symptoms, then you might be at a point where you have had the virus for a while now, and people start to feel really kind of very weak, and they'll be perhaps having a cold or a flu that is perhaps has taken a toll on for a couple of months.
Okay.
This is not something that is over like in a week or two, but a couple of months.
So then probably the best advice is to just get tested.
Absolutely. One of the best things that we are offering at this point, the big message behind any HIV agency right now is testing and prevention.
Okay. So now you're going to get tested. What happens if you find out that you have actually been infected?
At that point, someone who tests positive for the HIV virus will let them know at this particular moment you are indicative for the virus itself in your body.
Okay.
So we let them know that, and then we have a post-counseling session with them. We are not going to just give them the results, but we're going to go ahead and talk to them and see, what we can do next, where we can go from here. Obviously, we're not going to tell somebody that they're HIV positive and let them go on at that point.
But if you were to find out that you were infected with HIV, is it a death sentence? What should you do?
It's not what it used to be back in the late 70s, early 80s. Absolutely was. They called it the death sentence because it went immediately from being HIV positive to within a couple of weeks or months to being AIDS related. But we didn't know what we know now.
Okay.
So it is not the death sentence that it used to be. We have a lot of people that are infected and affected by HIV and have maintained a very positive and successful lifestyle with the virus itself. And we have some people that have been AIDS related and yet themselves have gotten, not cured, but they've gotten better. Okay. And at that point, they are still maintaining a lifestyle too that is very positive.
Okay, so what advice would you have to someone who is infected? How important is the support system? It's
very important. That's one of the things that we are looking always. We look to have somebody be there for someone else. That's why we provide post-counseling. Because at that point we realize, are you alone? Do you have a backup system? Do you have a support system? If you have a support system, that's half the battle.
Okay.
That is half the battle. If you have a good support system, because they're the ones who are going to get you through those bad days.
No, I'm so glad you mentioned that. First of all, let me say to Mr. Castro, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the information. And I want to say for all of those that are watching, you heard Mr. Castro say it himself, that half the battle is having a support system. So when we come back, we're going to have a roundtable discussion about youth, sex, and HIV. We're going to include some members of the community and some members of the church and talk about whose responsibility is what is enough, what is too much, what is not enough, what should we do before and after. Thank you so much. See you after this break.